What's going on, ladies and gents, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is Web Dev Journey, and today we're going to be talking about how to connect all three containers so that way we actually have a true full stack application. Hey guys, this is the future Web Dev Journey, and I just want to know down in the comments down below if you actually feel like if you're actually learning something. The reason why I say this is because most of the commands we already ran, and you already know in this video. I mean, all the things, I didn't even do that much. Honestly, I didn't do that much in this video. You already know all the commands that we did. And I'm just wondering if you're actually learning something, or if you want me to actually teach you something else, or how to use Docker in some other way. Just let me know down in the comments below. I would more than happy make videos upon that. So yeah, just letting you know that. Thanks guys, and continue with the video. Bye. Now, before we get started, I do want to note one thing, and that is, I'm not using the project that I was using last video. I completely scrapped it and using another project. And this is a Vue project. You could actually clone their project in GitHub. I'll have a link down below. But yeah, this is a Vue project. And the reason why I did it was because if you look in the front end application or the front end folder, you'll see that it's just spinning up a React homepage. That's it. It's not really connecting to the backend, thus not showing you how we could actually connect to the backend with Docker. Okay. So yeah, I didn't want that for you guys, so I had to look out. I didn't want to create one either because that's just time consuming. I just wanted to find one and be done with it, and Vue had a perfect template for us to use, so I'm using their template. I'll go over briefly about their template. They have a server folder, which is honestly the same thing. It's pretty basic. You know, they have a connection to Mongoose or MongoDB, and they have a route with /post. If you hit 8081, localhost 8081/post, you'll get an array of data back. That's it. That's their backend, and that's what we're doing. We need to hit this. That's what we're going to be doing, right? We're going to be hitting this route, so that way we get this information in the front end. And that's basically it. That's what they're doing, right? That's nothing new here, nothing new at all. And notice that I'm still using Mongo because our Mongo is to our server. It's not localhost, it's Mongo. Okay. Now let's go to our front end. Our front is literally, it's just a front end where they have a lot of stuff, but we're not going to be going over all that stuff. The only thing I do want to go over is that I just want you to show you that it is isolated. And the way we can see that is if you go to api.js, they're using Axios to request stuff from 8081. Don't worry, I'll get into what the hell is going on here, but they're using Axios to request 8081, thus making it isolated from everything else. It doesn't have nothing. It's not connecting to the database hard coded, you know. All right, that's all I want you to know. Now let's actually get into the coding part of it. Now our server, our Docker ignore is exactly the same, and our Docker file is exactly the same. I just changed work directory to /app, you know, copied everything to app again, and we're exposing 8081. Since we're exposing, where is it at? 8081 right here. We could change it to whatever you want. I'm just leaving it like that. So I just expose 8081. That is it. It's nothing new. Our client, however, there is some, you know, differences. Docker ignore is exactly the same thing. Although we should be ignoring a lot of these things as well, but I'm not even going to mess around with that. Our Docker file is where it's at. This is, you're like, don't worry, I'm going to explain. This might look confusing, although it shouldn't, because it's pretty much, you know, just read and you'll figure out what's going on. We're still using Node. We're running npm install HTTP server, and we're installing it globally. HTTP server, as you know, our front end still needs to be served up by a server, and we're just using this HTTP server just to get it up and running real fast. Our work directory is /client. We're copying everything again. Run npm install, copy to client, run npm run build. Now, this is, by the way, this is all Vue stuff. Don't worry. This is why I'm telling you what's going on. They're running the build to build production, although you don't have to, but they're doing it. And then they're exposing 8080 because that's the, I think that's the, let me see, config index. Yes, that's the port that they're using, 8080. I had to read through a lot of docs just to figure out what's going on, but not docs, but read through this code to see what's going on. Yeah, leave a like for that. Leave a like for that. At least, you know. All right, so where were we? Docker file. And that's basically exposing 8080. And the command to actually spin up a mini server is HTTP server. And they're serving up the dist folder because inside of dist, they have the index.html, which everything is being dumped into because they are using Webpack, and Webpack dumps it into this file. All right. That's enough about that. You should know what's going on with Docker file and Docker ignore. Nothing new, honestly. It really isn't, okay? Now, our Docker compose is where it's at. Not really. Everything's about the same. We still need to build images, right? We still need to build our API. I just renamed it. It used to be app. Now it's API. And this is going to build a server image. As you can see right here, server. We're building a server image. I just named API container, always server 8081, and it depends on Mongo, which it does, right? Now, the only difference between this file is this new server or service that we're running, right? Which is client. We're going to be doing a client container. Always, we're building the client folder image, and which is right here. Don't worry, right? Ports 8080 mapping to their 8080, and this depends on the API service, right? Because once we run Axios, it's going to be, bridging a network to the API or having connections to the API. And Mongo is exactly the same. Mongo backend, I think is, yeah. The only thing I changed was the named volume. I just named it to API DB. That's it. That is it. That's it, guys. Let's actually see what's going on. And don't worry, we are going to get into the code because there are some things that we need to figure out from the code side. Let's do, you already know, docker-compose build. So that way we build the images. There we go. This might take a while, so I'm going to just come back when it's done. All right, I see that I got some errors. Let's hope that that's nothing. I hope it's nothing. Let's clear that out. Let's do Docker images. And we have 2 images. I don't know what the hell this is right here. Oh, it's probably because of the error. Let me see what's going on with the error. Okay, I'll figure it out. When I was playing around with it, I deleted post view, the component posts. For some reason, it really cares about that, and I just put it back in. That's it. So don't worry about it. We're not even going to be using the component post. It's just all about hello world, okay? All right. So we have our, let me see images again. Docker images. Okay, clear. Docker images, and we have, let's just remove that one Docker RMI and give it the first 6F3 must be forced. Okay, -F, and okay, let's do Docker images. Okay, now we have our images, the one we want. We have our client image, our API image, and our node image. We still don't have the Mongo image because we're not using it yet. Now let's do docker-compose and do them separately. Run each service separately, so that way, remember, it depends on stuff. So we're just running separately. So composer, Docker compose, up, -D, Mongo. Let's do Mongo first. Since we don't have the image, it's gonna pull it down. Yeah. Okay. Notice that you can do Docker compose up, but like I said in the last video, sometimes things spin up too fast and another service isn't really done yet. And since one service depends on that service, you might get errors. So this is why I'm doing it this way. The next service we want to spin up is the API service. And pull this up. Our API service. Yes. Okay, that's done. And then lastly is our client service. Awesome. Everything's up and running. Let's do Docker for insanity check PS, and we should have 3 containers running, and we do. Awesome. All right, let's go to Google and let's do localhost 8080, which is our client, and woo, voila, look at this, posts, hello world and Docker. That is coming from our server right here. No, not right there. Right here. right here, hello world and Docker. Let me add another one so that way you're like, that's a lie. No, it's not. Let's add another one. Title, web, WDJ. I want to say WDJ is I. Okay. And control save that. Since we did change something here, let's actually build the image one more time. No, Docker compose build. It should be super fast. Yep. And then we need to run the API since that was the latest one. You'll see it right now. Watch. You see recreating API container, which is correct. All right. Now if we go back, refresh this. Look at that. WDJ is I. That's pretty cool. We're actually grabbing our posts, which is awesome. Okay. Now let me show you how it actually works from the front end side of things. Okay. Let me go back over here. Now where they're seeing this is actually in the components hello world view. Now right here, it's very, very complicated not complicated, but it's a lot of like thought process on how they did it. So they're using post services from post services right here, which is just an API, and this uses the API, which is our base URL. This is the whole thing right here. This is how you connect to things, to the other containers. Usually, you would probably have HTTP right here. You would have HTTP colon / localhost, something like this. Let me just copy this. Copy localhost 8081, because you want to make that connection to 8081, right? Well, the thing here, it's wrong. And the reason why is because, like I said, we're not running this on localhost. We're actually running this on a server, and servers don't really have a great concept of what localhost is. You're basically saying, hey, localhost, which is your machine. That's incorrect. You should be saying, hey, VPS IP, what's going on? Now, if you don't know what VPS IP is, VPS stands for virtual private server, okay? And what you need to say, hey, virtual private server, since it is running in a virtual private server, you need to say what's the IP that they're running. Now, since this is the reason why I included location.hostname. Since this is running in a container, I needed to know what the host name of that was. Now, host name is going to give you, like, if you're running it in a computer, it's going to say localhost, but it might not be the same thing when they're running it in a container. The host name might be, I think the default IP address of a container, of a Docker container, is 172.17.0.1. I might be mistaken, but I think that's what you're going to see here, right? So I'm just letting you know that you might get errors if you try to do this on your own, because you're probably doing localhost, which is not correct. It's not localhost. It's actually their host name, their virtual private server's IP address, not your localhost address, but their VPS IP. Okay. And this is where a lot of things, this is where you actually have, this is actually how you connect to that Docker container. Now, notice that I'm not doing API right here. This is the name that we're using right here for our server or for our service. I'm not doing HTTP API, colon 8081. I'm not doing that. Even though we did it with Mongo, but Mongo is different from what we're doing here. And that's basically it. This is how you would connect to your, all three of them together. You already know how to connect your backend to your database. Now what you needed to know was how to connect your front end, how to fetch data from your front end to the back end. And this is how you do it. You just use location.hostname. You need to do that. Don't use localhost. You're going to get an error. Use location.hostname. Now, there are better ways of getting this done, and that involves with playing around with the Docker Compose file and actually playing around how to actually do it. Not this way, obviously, another way. But this is the most simplest way to actually connect the front end to the back end. Use location.hostname, okay? I can't tell you enough to use that. And that's how we're doing it. Let's go to hello world, and they're using that post services. I need to go to post services, which is the API, which is this. which is our base URL, and it's saying, hey, return API.getPosts, and that's what they're doing in Hello World right here. Post data, post, and there you go. They're fetching the post and they're getting a response and using the template up here. Pretty much everything's pretty good. Okay, I just want you to know that use location.hostname instead of localhost. I don't even know how many times I said that this video. You you need to do that. Okay, that's the way to do it. Simplest way. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. We just created a full stack application running all of our containers and all of our assets, our front end asset, our back end asset, our database assets into different containers. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. I would say it's awesome. Well, that's it for this video, guys. It was probably longer than what I wanted, but I needed to get that. I needed to get that out. Localhost.hostname. That's what you need to use. And thank you guys for watching this video. If you do know of another way to do it, or if you want to know of another way to do it, let me know and I'll make a video about that. But this is just for your host machine. And if you do push this up into a server like an Amazon or a Droplet from DigitalOcean, it'll work. It will work. Don't worry about it. It will work. So don't worry about that. In the next video, we're going to be looking at CI and development with Docker. Deployment with Docker. CI stands for continuous integration. If you don't know how that works, just look it up, and it's pretty simple, okay? But we're going over that in the next video, and I hope you did learn something today. I really do. It feels like I didn't teach you that much, but there wasn't nothing to teach. It's just using one localhost.hostname. That's it. So yeah, thank you guys. Leave it a like if you liked it. Subscribe to me. Leave a comment down below if you want me to teach you another way how to do it, and a more complex way of doing it. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. And thank you guys for, joining me in this video. I do appreciate you spending time watching my videos. It helps me out.